A graduate of the College of St. Mary, Linda Garcia Perez had a long career as a children's librarian for Omaha Public Library. There, she not only encouraged children's curiosity, but also their creativity. Linda is also an artist, and it is through her art that she has and continues to celebrate her Chicana heritage. It was a flame that was ignited in her last year of college during a visit to her grandparents' homeland.
I picked Mexico, of course, so I went and stayed there, scared to death. And I got off the airport and says, oh my gosh, I've never seen so many Mexicans in my whole life. And I saw art everywhere. So I started looking up a lot of the myths and legends of Mexico. And that's how I became a storyteller as well as an artist. And you wouldn't believe that I wouldn't talk when I was younger.
A second-generation American, Linda was born in Omaha and raised in a family of 10 children. Her mother worked, and so Linda spent most of her time with her immigrant grandparents. Spanish was spoken at home, so when Linda began school, she struggled with English. But in that struggle, Linda found her unique voice in the world.
And I start crying, she would say, what? I got a stupid teacher. She doesn't know anything. I'm in real trouble. I'm never going to learn. I went up to my teacher the next day. I slammed that apple down, a manzana, apple. And I had for breakfast avena, oatmeal, leche, milk. And I felt so smart. And I went and sat down and I thought, I'm smarter than the teacher because I speak 2 languages and see the world differently. So I knew the power of words then.
Though she struggled with English, Linda excelled in creativity. Art became a language that helped her build friendships.
All the girls had these fancy paper dolls. We couldn't afford them. Our money was super tight. I started making my own paper dolls. Eventually I had to make dolls for everybody. And I taught them how to make the clothes and how to trace it. So they put away all their dolls and ended up making paper dolls with me.
After graduating high school in 1964, Linda studied art at the College of St. Mary. She was the first college graduate in her family. During her trip to Mexico as a young woman, she discovered the brilliant, colorful art of her heritage.
That one exposure changed my course, changed who I am completely. Because of my education and the way I had looked at life, I saw far away that I had choices as a woman.
Then, back in America, Linda learned about a civil rights movement for Mexican Americans. It was called the Chicano movement.
Chicano philosophy to me means you learn about this environment, you learn about the other people that are in your culture and your heritage, but you teach it and you share it. That's why I call myself a Chicana, because it's self-determination. You know, you can't wait for people to hand you stuff.
She was confident. She carried herself in a very almost aloof way, but it wasn't phony. And then one day I said, let's go out. And I fell in love.
A chance meeting turned into a lifelong commitment between a very independent-minded Linda and Jose.
I wasn't going to get married. I made up my mind. I dislike the quote when people say, oh, my husband allows me to do this. What do you mean he allows you to do this? What does that mean? Allows me. You couldn't do it if he said no? Not in my house.
She always produced who she was in her art. So Linda as a woman, as a human being, was almost a mystery, but when you saw her art, pow, it was all there.
As a librarian, Linda knew words transformed thought. As a workshop teacher, she fosters understanding through knowledge. And as an artist, she uses creativity to bridge cultures.
When I saw Linda do Mexicanism as a born-in-the-wool American, a Mexican American, a Chicana, it just blew my mind. Wow. And even though I see Mexican there, I see Chicano there, but I see something that's very American.
Growing up, I learned that paper was made from plants and trees. So I'm really dealing with a living thing. And I like that idea of working with a living thing that was once alive.
She's doing more paper art than ever before. She turned paper into magic.
For Linda, creativity is like breathing. And for those women who follow her, she believes the key to moving through difficulty rests with accepting the challenge, but not defeat.
And it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be fearful. It's okay to not know where you're going. But as long as you're going,